Have you ever had your cat climb onto your chest, press their nose against your chin, and just stay there? Or maybe they need your arm at 2 in the morning and won't stop, no matter how many times you gently move them away. You probably think it's just a quirky habit, maybe a leftover from kittenhood. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Some of what your cat does with you has nothing to do with habit and everything to do with something much deeper. They aren't just comfortable with you. In their mind, you are filling a role that only one other living creature has ever held. And if you've been reading those moments as random, you've been missing some of the most profound things your cat has ever tried to tell you. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with the one that happens in plain sight, and almost every owner gets completely wrong. One, they need you, and it's not about comfort. Have you ever been sitting quietly and your cat crawls onto your lap, digs their paws into your thigh, and starts that slow, rhythmic pressing? Over and over, eyes going soft, almost like they've left the room entirely. Most people call it making biscuits and leave it at that. The standard explanation is that it's a comfort reflex, something cats do because it once felt warm and safe. Sweet, simple, end of story. But that explanation stops way too early. Here's what's really happening. Kneading isn't just a comfort behavior. It's something kittens do exclusively with one individual, their mother. In the first weeks of life, a kitten presses rhythmically against their mother's belly to stimulate milk flow. It is one of the most fundamental survival acts they know, and the detail most owners never hear. The target of that behavior is never random. Kittens need the one creature they depend on completely. When your cat does this to you, they are not replaying a vague emotional memory. They are directing a behavior they once aimed at their mother directly at you. Behavioral researchers who study feline bonding have found that kneading in adult cats persists most strongly in cats who maintain a deeply bonded relationship with a specific human caregiver. It's associated with measurably lower stress responses. The behavior doesn't fade with age when the bond runs deep enough. So that slow pressing, those little paws working into your leg while their eyes go half closed, that's not a nervous habit. That's trust that goes all the way back to the very beginning of their life. And later, I'll show you one thing your cat does at night that connects directly back to this same instinct. It happens while you're completely asleep, and you've probably never noticed. 2. They bring their belly to you first. Has your cat ever walked directly up to you, not anyone else in the room, just you, and flopped down right at your feet, rolling onto their back with their belly fully exposed? Most people take it as an invitation. They reach down, and most people immediately discover that's wrong, usually with a scratch across the hand. So they decide their cat is playing a trick. A little bait and switch. But it was never an invitation to touch. Here's what most people don't realize. The belly is the most protected area on a cat's body. Every instinct they carry tells them to keep it covered. The only time a cat exposes their belly freely, without tension, without a single muscle braced, is in the presence of someone they classify as completely safe. Behavioral researchers who study feline body language note that kittens showed this posture almost exclusively toward their mother in early development. It's a position of total surrender, offered only to the one creature they trust above everything else. When your cat rolls over and shows you their stomach, they are placing themselves in the most vulnerable position they know, and choosing you as the one they're safe enough to do it with. Studies on feline body language distinguish this posture from a play invitation by the signals that accompany it. A relaxed face, slow even breathing, no tail tension. When those signals are present, researchers categorize it as a high-trust display, not a solicitation for physical contact. That's not a trap. That's the closest thing to complete trust a cat can offer with their entire body. Stay with me, because there's one behavior coming up that only happens when the bond reaches a certain depth. and most owners have never even realized it's happening to them. And hey, if this is changing the way you see your cat right now, hit that like button and subscribe. That's how we get these videos to more cat owners who want to understand their cat the right way. 3. They headbutt your face, not your hand. Has your cat ever bypassed your outstretched hand entirely, walked right past it, and pressed their forehead directly into your cheek, your chin, your nose? Most people know headbutting means affection. They figure their cat is marking them, claiming them, saying a warm hello. And that's partly true, but it doesn't explain the targeting. Here's what's really happening. In feline social behavior, the forehead and cheek carry dense concentrations of scent glands. When cats press these areas against another individual, they're exchanging a chemical signature, a signal that says, without any ambiguity, you belong to my world. But the location matters. Researchers who study feline allorubbing, the mutual rubbing that happens between socially bonded cats, have found that facial contact occurs most frequently between cats with the closest bonds. It's reserved. In early kittenhood, the primary point of physical contact between a kitten and their mother is head-to-head, foreheads pressed together. Your face carries your most concentrated personal scent. It's the place that smells most like you. And here's where it gets deeper. When your cat bypasses every other part of your body and goes straight for your face, they're recreating that original contact point, the one that meant safety before they understood anything else. Research on affiliative behavior in cats distinguishes facial bunting from the kind of flank rubbing a cat might offer, even to a stranger. Facial contact is categorized as highest intensity bonding behavior, linked to the closest social relationships. So when they skip your hand and go straight for your face, that's not impatience. That's them going straight for the part of you that means home. 4. They follow you into rooms without making a sound. Have you ever gotten up to move to another room and realized a few minutes later that your cat is just there? They didn't announce themselves. They didn't meow. They simply appeared in the same space as you, settled a few feet away, watching quietly. Most people don't even register it as a behavior. They assume their cat wanted to move around, or that it's coincidence, or that something edible might be involved. But here's what's really happening. Cats are extraordinarily self-contained animals. When they want to be alone, and they often do, they vanish. They're effortless at it. So when a cat is actively tracking your location through the house and positioning themselves within your line of sight, silence included, that is a deliberate choice. And that specific pattern, quiet proximity, no demands, just presence, mirrors exactly how a kitten stays near their mother. Not seeking constant interaction, not asking for anything, just keeping the distance small, because closeness itself is what matters. The safety signal isn't in the touch or the sound, it's in the radius. When your cat follows you room to room without a single word, they are using you as a fixed point. You are the reference their nervous system orients toward. Researchers at Oregon State University found in a study on feline attachment that cats with secure attachment styles actively orient toward their owners when placed in unfamiliar environments. When the owner returned after a brief absence, securely attached cats relaxed, began exploring, and re-established calm. You were the variable that changed everything. That's not your cat following you around. That's your cat staying close to the one thing that makes the world feel stable. 5. They groom the spots you didn't know they were tending. Has your cat ever settled in beside you and quietly started licking your hand, your wrist, the top of your head, slowly, deliberately, like they had somewhere specific to be? Most people find it endearing and file it under quirky cat behavior. Some assume their cat likes the taste of something on their skin. The grooming gets absorbed into background noise and nothing more. But here's what most people don't realize. In feline social science, mutual grooming between bonded cats, called allogrooming, is not casual. Researchers have found that cats don't groom randomly or indiscriminately. They groom with strong site specificity. The head, the neck, and behind the ears are the primary targets. Why? Because those are the exact spots a cat cannot reach on their own. A mother grooms her kittens in those places constantly, regulating their stress, reinforcing their bond, stabilizing their entire nervous system through the slow rhythm of touch. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Studies on affiliative behavior in cats suggest that allogrooming lowers physiological stress markers in both animals involved. Your cat is not just tending to you, they are calming themselves by caring for you. The act of repair runs both directions. Behavioral researchers, including those who have studied feline social structures in detail, have documented that allogrooming is highly selective, occurring almost exclusively between individuals with the strongest social bonds. It is not hygiene, it is relationship maintenance. I will take care of the parts of you that you can't reach. That's not your cat being strange. That's your cat doing exactly what a mother does. 6. They bring you something when the world gets too loud. Has your cat ever dropped a toy at your feet during a thunderstorm? Or carried something, a small object, anything at all, to wherever you were sitting, and just stood there, looking at you? Most people either laugh it off or assume their cat wants to play. The object gets tossed aside and forgotten. But watch the timing. Behavioral researchers have noted that object carrying in domestic cats tends to increase during stressful events. Loud noises, unfamiliar visitors, disruptions to the household routine. And the destination is never random. The cat brings the object to one specific person, to you. In the wild, a kitten under stress doesn't manage it alone. They move toward their mother. They close the distance between themselves and the one presence that signals safety. Your cat, no matter how independent they seem on an ordinary afternoon, has placed you in that position. When something destabilizes their world, the answer their instincts offer is, find the one who makes things safe. Bring them something. Close the gap. And if you watch closely, you'll notice they don't look at the object. They look at you. Emerging behavioral evidence suggests this retrieval behavior under stress reflects a proximity-seeking response rooted in early developmental instinct, where the mother represented the primary source of regulation during threat. That's not your cat being odd. That's your cat, in their most unsettled moment, choosing you. 7. They need you while you sleep, and you never know. What if your cat does something for you every single night? Something that connects directly back to the very first behavior we talked about, and you have absolutely no idea it's happening. Most cat owners assume their cat settles down after they fall asleep. Shifts position. Finds a warm spot. Does cat things in the dark. Most people have never thought to wonder because they weren't awake to see it. Here's what behavioral researchers studying cats through overnight observation have found. Bonded cats don't simply sleep beside their owners and stay still. They return. Repeatedly, throughout the night, they reposition themselves closer. And many of them knead. Not in response to anything. Not triggered by the owner waking up or moving. Just quietly, in the dark, pressing their paws into the blanket, into the space beside you, sometimes directly against your side. Think back to the very first section. Kneading is the behavior kittens direct at their mother, the most primal act of connection they know. This is that behavior happening in complete silence, in the middle of the night, aimed at you, while you are entirely unaware it's going on. Some researchers who study domestic cat activity cycles overnight have observed that bonded cats engage in affiliative behaviors near their sleeping owners, with a frequency that suggests active emotional orientation rather than simple proximity. They're not just sharing space. They're returning to you. And here's what makes this the most quietly powerful thing on this entire list. Every other behavior we've talked about today happens while you're present, while you can respond, while there's at least a possibility that your cat is reacting to something you did. But this happens when you are gone from them in every practical sense. Your eyes are closed. Your body is still. You have nothing left to offer for the next 8 hours. And your cat comes back anyway. They press their paws into the space next to you. The same motion, the same rhythm, the same ancient instinct they were born using with the only other creature they ever needed this completely. And they do it for no audience. There is no reward waiting. It is not for you to see. It just happens, quietly, because at some point your cat stopped sorting out where their mother ended and you began. To your cat, you were never just an owner. You were never just the person who fills the bowl. Somewhere along the way, without asking and without needing to, they decided you were the one they came from. You are home.